All right, good afternoon, everyone. Are you able to hear me? Thumbs up if so.
Yes,
All right. Happy Friday, everyone. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused by the Solicitor General's office. I'm Judge Melanie Williams, and today is December the 2nd of 2022. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this particular proceeding. All participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It is also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this. I see in the chat, Ms. Kim, that you need to interview your clients at the South Annex.
Yes, but they are actually interviewing with a conflict attorney, so I had to wait.
Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunate. Hopefully that won't cause us too much of a bottleneck. But if possible, once they're finished, if Ms. Kim could be allowed to speak with those inmates, that would be helpful.
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
Thank you. Who do we have first?
Good afternoon, Judge. This is going to be a private attorney case, position 9, Mr. Ramadanchi.
All right.
Good afternoon, Judge. Aaron Friedman representing Deepak Ramchandani.
All right, thank you. Hold 1 second. Mr. Ramchandani, your case number is 22 CR 008084Y. In this case, you're charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol with a concentration of 0.08 or more, driving improper erratic lane change, and making an improper right turn, each with the offense date of December the 1st. Do you understand those rights as I just explained them to you?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, all I heard was yes. What did you say following that?
No, I understand the charges you just pointed out.
You gotta keep it on.
All right.
Mask on.
Keep your mask on. Do you understand your rights?
Somewhat, ma'am. You can explain it to me one more time?
All right, you have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney, and this proceeding is on the internet. Do you understand those 3 things?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I please have his history?
First,
All right, Ms. Todd, if you proceed and give me the state's recommendation.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond on count 1, a $500 surety bond on count 2, and a $500 surety bond on count 3, making for a total of a $4,000 surety bond, including no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. In this event, Your Honor, while on patrol on Jones Bridge Road, Officer Michael Bacon observed the defendant's vehicle make an excessively wide right turn onto State Bridge Road. Officer Bacon followed the defendant's vehicle and watched his vehicle swerve left to right on State Bridge Road. Seeing this, Officer Bacon initiated the stop. When he approached the defendant, he noticed that his eyes were bloodshot and glossy. He also noticed a smell of alcohol coming from the vehicle. The defendant agreed and complied with SFTs and a breath test. The results of the intoxilizer indicated a blood alcohol content of 0.101. And while pretrial did say this is his first arrest, this is not his first DUI. He did plead nolo to a DUI in 1981. Nothing further from that.
That's quite remote. All right, Mr. Friedman, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, that was a surprise to me, the 1981. I do not know if that is accurate or not, Judge, but it is so far removed regardless. Mr. Ramchandani has substantial ties to the community, Your Honor. He does own a business in Fulton County. He does reside in Fulton County. He has substantial support with his wife sitting next to me in my office, Judge, as well as multiple other family members. He has no flight risk or danger to the community. As pointed out, he has no prior history from his criminal history, as pointed out by pretrial release judge, of no priors, although the state may contest that. With regard to the facts, we will dispute those at a later date in court, Judge. We'd ask for an unsecured judicial release in this case. He has no significant flight risk. He will show up in court. He has already retained counsel. And we ask that no other special conditions be imposed as the state has requested.
All right. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond. It'll be $2,000 for count 1, $500 for each of the remaining counts. He's not to drive unless he has a valid license issued by the Georgia DDS, and he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond. He will be reset to the state all-purpose calendar on December the 15th, as will all defendants who receive a surety or a cash bond today. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset further notice. Is there anything further, Ms. Todd or Mr. Friedman?
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly, that also included, when you said valid license, including temporary permit issued by the Georgia Department of Driver Services. Is that accurate?
If he has one of those, he may drive. If not, if he does not have a valid license, he is not to drive.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Anything further?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right, best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Friedman, if that concludes your business, you can be excused.
Thank you very much, Judge. It's a pleasure to see you and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Take care.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Who do we have next?
Position 3, Calhoun.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Calhoun. Your case is 22 CR 008091D. In this case, you're charged with theft by taking with the offense date of December the 1st. Do you understand your rights here today?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, may I have that history, please?
Counting about 25 between Georgia, Kentucky, Indiana. Last arrest was in May for trespass. April trespass. January probation. Underlying charge was burglary in the 2nd degree. That burglary case is 18 SC 156655. I also arrested in January for trespass. 2021 giving false name. 2020 probation. 2017 burglary. 2017 trespass, he was given time served for that. Another 2017 trespass. Hold on. He has 14 cycles out of Kentucky. 2020 failed to appear. A fugitive from another state. 2020 public intoxication. Parole violation 2013. He also had burglary as well in Kentucky 2011. Want me to keep going?
No, that's sufficient. Thank you. I'm sorry, one last thing, the most recent burglary was 2020?
2017, I think.
2017. Okay, just wanted to clarify that point.
Yeah, the
Thank
Kentucky
you.
burglary arrest was 2012.
Okay, I think I've got it. All right, Ms. Sowery, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at the American Hotel located at 160 Ted Turner Drive in Atlanta. The defendant ran behind the front desk of the hotel and took the victim's phone. The victim's name is spelled CHINENYE, last name ORJIUNEGBU. The phone was found on the defendant's person, and when asked by officers, he did not know any contact information in the phone, and also the victim called the phone in the presence of the officer. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have multiple cycles for theft convictions. 2017 burglary here in our jurisdiction, 2020 probation violation, 2022 probation violation, and he has a 2020 FTA out of Kentucky, so he presents a risk of reoffending and a risk of flight, and he's also a multi-state offender. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and also, Your Honor, no contact with the victim.
All right, can you give me that stay away location one more time?
Yes, it's 160 Ted Turner Drive in Atlanta.
Thank you. Ms. Gamp, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Mr. Damon Calhoun is
afternoon.
33 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 year. He states that he does have family here, but he does not have anyone to assist him with bond. He completed the 11th grade, and at this time, Your Honor, he is unemployed and has been so for the past 3 years. He also is residentially challenged, Your Honor. He is presumed innocent. We are denying the allegations. I'm requesting a signature bond on Mr. Calhoun's behalf. This is a non-violent offense. Again, he's presumed innocent. The last theft-related offense was in 2017, and we do believe that that is remote, Your Honor. We are unopposed to the stay away and the no contact provisions. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I will accept the state's recommendation. The defendant will receive $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the location on Ted Turner Drive, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further from the state.
Nor from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Who do we have next?
Position 1, Bazil. So he's gonna explain it to you.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Bazell. Your case number is 22 CR 008094A. In this case, you're charged with 1 count of committing certain prohibited acts in a bus or rail station, possession and use of drug-related objects, giving false information, and criminal trespass, each with the offense date of December the 1st. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
We got over 40 cycles of arrest. We got 42 out of Florida alone. Last
Okay,
arrest,
most interested in 5 years then.
his last arrest was back in April. Felony theft by receiving, 2 counts. 1 count was dismissed and 1 was conviction. He's on probation for that. In August, they gave him 2 years, 9 months probation. Before that was 2021, driving without a valid license conviction. Georgia district. Hold on. He had a 2020 in Florida, drug possession of a controlled substance. 2019 possession of synthetic. 2019 failure to appear. Passing counterfeit from 2019. It says uttering check with forged endorsement. Conviction. 2018 failure to appear. 2018 out of county warrant and a failure to appear, possession of controlled substance. Another 2018 arrest, possession of synthetic cannabinoid. And he got probation violations, burglary as well.
Okay. I believe that's sufficient. Thank you. Ms. Soury?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on MARTA at 1255 West Peachtree in Atlanta. The defendant was seen on the MARTA train smoking marijuana. And when he was arrested, he did possess 2 glass pipes on his person. When asked for his name, he gave the false name of Dimitri Lee Gilbert, which we know that is not his correct name. The defendant, when his correct name was ran, it revealed that he had 2 active MARTA suspensions that do not expire until next year. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, the defendant is a multi-state offender. He does present a risk of reoffending and a risk of flight. The state's recommendation on this case is a $2,000 surety bond. That's $1,000 on each count to comply with MARTA suspensions and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, you said 2,000 surety?
I'm sorry, yes, Your Honor, that's 500 on each count.
On each count. Okay, all right. I'm not the best at math. I had to check. Thank you. All right, Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. John Bazell is 27 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 year. He has some cousins here, but again, no one is available to assist him with bond. Your Honor, in the warrant, I have the stay away. I have the incident location is 216 Peachtree Street. I believe I heard 1255 West Peachtree Street. So I would ask that we get some clarification on that. Further, Mr. Bazell is working on his GED. He completed the 9th grade in high school. He is a day laborer. He works about 3 days per week. Obviously, while he's incarcerated, he is unable to earn any income. He denies the allegations, and I do acknowledge my client's history. However, I would just ask the court, given the nature of the allegations, these are non-violent offenses, that Your Honor consider granting a signature bond on Mr. Bazell's behalf, Your Honor. And we are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location if there's an active suspension in place. Thank you.
Right. Was he at the Peachtree Center, Marta Station, Missouri, or was it the Art Center?
Your Honor, I'm looking at the warrants. There are multiple warrants. So in 3 of the warrants, it states 216 Peachtree Street, as Ms. Gant has stated. And then the last warrant states the 1255 West Peachtree Street. So there are two.
It won't matter if he has an active MARTA suspension, he can't go to any of those anyway. All right. So the defendant's gonna receive a $2,000 split bond. On count 1, it's gonna be a $500 surety. On count 2, it's 500 signature through the jail. On count 3, it's a $500 signature bond through the jail. And on count 4, it'll be a 500 surety. To equal that 2,000 split, he will have to post bond on that 1,000 worth of surety. He is to comply with all active MARTA suspensions and stay away from MARTA in its entirety, so long as the suspension is valid and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next? Who do we have before me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. I thought it was unmuted. This is gonna be position 2, Bowen.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Bowen. Your case is 22 CR 008093C. In this case, you're charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting with the offense date of August the 31st of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have his history?
38 total. Last arrest was in July for battery DV. That's open. State Court 22 CR 004-824C. On probation in the cab, possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. 2018, they gave him 4 years, 6 months of probation for that. And that was in October 2018. Also on probation, possession of cocaine, possession of marijuana with intent. They gave him 7 years of probation for that in 2019. It's 18 SC 158701. Also on probation for armed robbery and ag assault. 18 SC 161358. You want more?
No, I think that's sufficient. Thank you. Ms. Sowry, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. This is
I'm unable to hear.
Sorry, I lost your audio for a minute. I was hoping it's not my Zoom conference, but it appears that Ms. Gant's gonna confirm the same thing.
okay.
Sorry, we can't hear you. There you go. There we go. Much better. All
I
right. please.
apologize. Yes, this incident took place at Home Depot located at 2525 Piedmont Road in Atlanta. The defendant came into the store and retrieved a lawnmower. He was seen walking over to the customer service desk in an attempt to use an old receipt to fraudulently obtain a return for the lawnmower. When the defendant did not have the actual credit card to return the item, he walked out with the lawnmower that he went into the store and possessed, and he passed all points of sales. And when he was confronted by the loss prevention officers, he told them he had a gun and he wasn't going back in the store with them. As we've heard from pretrial, this defendant has 38 cycles. His theft history goes back to the 80s. I have theft convictions in 1980, in the 80s, in the 90s. 2010, he had a burglary arrest. I didn't see a disposition. He does have multiple FTAs, that armed robbery guilty conviction in 2018, forgery in the second guilty conviction in 2018, and then an open battery family violence, Your Honor. The state's recommendation due to this history of reoffending and being a risk at flight is a $1,000 surety bond to stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dexter Bowen is 52 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of 5 children, 2 of which are minors, and they are ages 4 and 12. Mr. Bowen completed high school. He is currently employed in construction. He completes painting, brick, and masonry work. He strongly denies the allegations. He is presumed innocent. And Your Honor, I do acknowledge my client's history. However, the FTAs, we did not hear about any dates for the FTAs. The theft convictions are remote in the 80s, 90s, and the last burglary is 2010. I would ask that your honor grants Mr. Bowen a signature bond, or in the alternative, if he's ineligible, that we go with the state's recommendations, as I have been in contact with his family, and they are able to, state that they have about $100, between the family members to contribute to his bond. But we would prefer a signature bond, given that these are remote offenses and he's presumed innocent, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Gant. I will accept the state's recommendation. The defendant will receive a $1,000 surety bond. He's to stay away from that Home Depot on Piedmont Road in Atlanta, and he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further? Sir, you're raising your hand. The best thing for you.
Mr. Bowen,
The
please
best
do
thing
not
to
make
do
any
is-
statements. I'm happy to give you a call at the jail to explain everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you a call.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gant. I appreciate that. Mr. Bowen, best of luck to you. Please speak with your attorney regarding this ruling, okay? All right, who do we have next?
You're welcome, Your
It's gonna
Honor.
be an add-on position 1, Mr. Collier.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Your case number is 22 CR 008096H. In this case, you're charged with battery and criminal trespass and damage to property. Do you understand your right?
Yes.
All right, we will go straight to Ms. Sowery, seeing this is defendant's first arrest. Ms. Sowery?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2770 Veltre, that's VELTRE Terrace, Southwest in Atlanta. Officers responded and spoke with the victim, whose name is Eric Gordon, common spelling. He stated that he was attacked by the defendant. He states that before the attack, he was speaking with the defendant's wife, and when the conversation between the two became loud, he decided to disengage and walk away. The victim was then approached by the defendant and asked him to step outside. And when the victim walked outside, that's when the
Is Ms. Sowery frozen? Okay. All right. Ms. Falk, you wanna send her a message?
Yeah, I can, and just let her know she's frozen.
Yes, or maybe send her a message. And I know this may be a lot to ask, Ms. Falk. Do you have the state's recommendation? Here?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. The state's recommendation is, and let me just make sure I have the right cheat sheet pulled up. State's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim in this case, Eric Gordon, common spelling for both the first and last name, or the witness in the case, which is Mr. Abbott. Stay away from the incident location of 2770 Veltre, VELTRE Terrace, Southwest Atlanta. 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna sound for Mr. Gordon at this time. Mr. Gordon, if you are on this Zoom conference and wish to be heard, this is your opportunity to speak. All right, hearing none, we'll go to you, Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good
My
afternoon.
client is 41 years old. He has been a resident of Georgia, for more than 20 years. He is married and is the father of 6 children ranging in ages from 15 to 1-year-old. He formerly was a middle school teacher, but he currently works as a realtor. He has never been arrested in his life. He denies the allegations as stated by the state. In fact, he tells me that after Mr. Gordon was quite rude to his wife and was harassing her as she was curating an art show at the venue, he decided that he should leave, and he was leaving when Mr. Gordon decided to follow him out. He engaged him in some kind of conversation, and then Mr. Gordon hit him, and that was when they started to fight. Both of them were injured. My client was also injured when this happened. In fact, he tells me that Mr. Gordon appeared to be drunk. He had an odor of alcohol on him, and he was behaving very, very aggressively. Both Mr. Gordon and my client apparently lost some of their property. So at the end of this, they were both looking for property. I see where the warrant is suggesting that my client took something from him, but that is absolutely not true, Your Honor. And I guess that is why that is not a part of it. My client, as I said, has never been arrested in his life. He's been a teacher, he's now a realtor, he's married with 6 children, and has nothing negative, no kind of criminal history. Therefore, I think he is a good candidate for signature bond, Your Honor, and I would ask the court to give him that today. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I do apologize. I had my laptop died, but I am back. I would like to place a few more facts on the record. There was a video that the officer was able to view, which did corroborate the victim's story. Also, there was an independent witness who owned the home, Mr. Abbott, ABBOT. He stated that the defendant actually called to apologize for the fight and admitted to attacking the victim. And he stated that the defendant returned to his home to fight the victim. So he did believe that the incident was already planned. So I will state again, or I will state that the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim or the witness, stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Your Honor, I would just like to state that my client called the homeowner to apologize, but not for that. You know, of course, he apologized for what happened, and he did not make any admissions that he was the aggressor at all. In fact, he tells me categorically that Mr. Gordon was the aggressor. In fact, my client made a police report to Zone 4. He spoke with a detective, Crystal Johnson, on October 4. She interviewed him because my client absolutely was injured and he was not the aggressor. Look at his history. He's a 41-year-old man who's never been arrested, never been in any kind of trouble.
I understand, Ms. McLeod. All right.
But Mr. Gordon has been.
All right. I'm inclined to agree with you. At this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, $2,500 for each count. He's to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim or the witness, last name Abbott, and he must stay away from that location on Beltree or Belcher Terrace and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. All right, is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Judge, I do have a quick announcement for position 6, it's a medical reset.
Okay.
For position 8, bonded out.
All right. And I see that 13 is a reset as well.
And Your Honor,
He should be in Union City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Ms. Dowry, you were saying something?
yes, Your Honor, position 6 has been referred to MH court.
They still gotta have a first appearance, though, is my understanding. So, we'll still note that, but I think they'll still appear on this calendar. All right, who do we have next?
We're completed here in courtroom 2, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right,
Position
bye-bye.
number 5.
All right. Has South Annex heard their right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, are you Ms. Freeman?
Yes.
Ms. Freeman, your case is 22 CR 008092G. All right, that's fun. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence with the offense date of December the 1st. Do you understand your right?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2021. Possession of marijuana, driving without a valid license.
Okay.
That's out of Peachtree City.
All right, Ms. Sowry, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2280 Campbellton Road in Atlanta. Officers were dispatched to the incident location actually twice, once by the victim and once by the defendant. When officers spoke with the victim, whose name is Kathia, that's Katthia, last name Gedeon. She stated that the defendant came into her home through a window. The victim then allowed the defendant in the home, but a verbal argument ensued and then it became physical. The defendant struck the victim multiple times and she sustained an open laceration that was actively bleeding when officers did arrive. They also spoke with the defendant, who stated that she was at the incident location picking up items when she was struck by the victim. Officers specifically stated in the warrant that he saw small scratches, but none were consistent with being struck by a knife. The scratches were actually consistent with hitting something. And based on the victim's injuries, the defendant was deemed the initial aggressor. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, I'm gonna sound for the alleged victim. I believe last name might be Gideon or Gideon. If you're on this Zoom conference, I believe I may have seen that name earlier. If you're on the, all right, would you like to make a statement? You're not required to do so. If you do, you will need to turn on your camera so that we can identify you.
Okay.
All right. Before you begin to speak, you do wish to make a statement?
Yes.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court? What the court is most concerned with today is whether you wish to have any contact with the defendant.
No, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to let me know?
As far as me using a knife on her, that is a lie. Never. I didn't hit her back. I didn't touch her. No.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. Ms. Gant, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Shavi Freeman is 28 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 1998. She does have family here, Your Honor, but no one is available to assist her with bond. Ms. Freeman is residentially challenged, Your Honor, but she does have the ability to live with her mother. Therefore, we are unopposed to the no contact and stay away orders. My client does not wish to have contact with Ms. Gideon. Now, Ms. Freeman, she is currently employed at Amazon. She has been in that position for about 6 months, and she earned a high school diploma. She strongly denies the allegations and maintains that she was merely defending herself. She states that it is in fact true that she was assaulted by Ms. Gideon. She does not have any convictions or even any arrests for violence. Your Honor, therefore, we are requesting a signature bond on Ms. Freeman's behalf. She is recommended according to the report that I received. And again, we are unopposed to the no contact and the stay away orders, but we would ask the court for a one-time law enforcement escort so that Ms. Freeman may retrieve any belongings from Ms. Gideon's residence, Your Honor.
Does she have an address, Ms. Gant, that she'll be able to use if I
Your
am
Honor,
suspended through pre-trial?
she did give me her mother's name in Austell, Georgia. She could not remember the address, but we certainly do have a an active telephone number for Ms. Freeman so that we could update the court later, or in the alternative, a signature bond through the jail.
All right, I will not be doing a signature bond through the jail at this time. All right,
Your Honor, I'm gonna do
Am I able to
apologize.
say, am I able to say something?
Miss Gideon, we've heard from you, but if
Okay.
there's something very quickly you'd like to tell the court.
Yeah, because it's in regards to me and her as well. Even though this is the first offense where we are going to a bond hearing for it,
Your Honor,
something that
I object. Again, we've heard from the complaining witness, my client, nor the complaining witness wants to have contact. I believe that for bond purposes, we've reached the extent of testimony from
All right,
Ms.
I'm
Gideon
gonna
at this time.
I'm gonna allow it very briefly, Miss Gideon, very briefly. Go ahead.
Thank you. September 16, we actually had the cops called here. We do have an open case where she informed me that we supposed to go to court on September 22nd that I did not know about, where she broke into the front door, busted into the front door. I have a video, and she ripped my TV off the wall and caused damages. So we do have a case with that, which I was just informed from her that we're supposed to go to court about on December 22nd.
All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, if I may, I would ask that the court not consider that. We did not hear of any such cases from pretrial nor the state.
And Your Honor, the victim is here. She's present in court. She is giving her testimony, which she does have a right to do per the Victim Bill of Rights. And I would also like to add, Your Honor, there was another incident between the two where the defendant got physical with her on November 12th. And the victim told our victim advocate that no arrests were made in that situation. So there is a history of violence, and the defendant has committed acts against the victim. Nothing further.
All right, at this time, the defendant will, okay, I'm sorry, let's go back to the address. Does she have a stable address? You said you don't know it, but she has a phone number.
Yes, we do have a valid phone number for Ms. Freeman, and and actually, Your Honor, while we are in court, if I may just try and see if I can find an address for her mother, Your Honor. I think that we may have the capacity to do that, and I do apologize for not having it for the court at this time.
All right, defendant will receive a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She is to take the 1-day anger awareness course. She is to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, last name Gideon, and no phone, video, none of that. She's to stay away from the address on Campbellton Road. She can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items, and Attorney Gant will supplement the record with her address or an address where she can receive information.
That's per judge.
Per judge. Anything further?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further from the state.
All right. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Position number 7. She also has, position number 7 has family in courtroom 2.
Oh, courtroom 2 is already gone, I believe.
Oh, we're here, Your Honor. Her mother's here in courtroom 2. She's in the galley.
All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 22 CR 008085J. In this case, you're charged with a simple battery family violence with the offense date of December the 1st. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history?
The second arrest. Last was 2020 DUI conviction.
All right, thank you. All right, this is Ms. Todd's case. Ms. Todd,
Yes, it is,
please
Your Honor.
proceed. Please proceed, Ms. Todd.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yesterday, while on patrol at the College Park Monitor Station, Officer Howard Smith witnessed the defendant push and punch her husband, James Blaylock. That's BLALOCK, James is common spelling, with a closed fist. While she does not have a significant history, we do have some concern regarding possible intimidation. As I stated, the defendant is married to Mr. Blaylock, and they do reside in the same home. We are asking for a $2,000 surety bond with no further violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. Nothing further from the state.
Is Mr. Blaylock present on this Zoom conference? I'm sounding for Mr. Blaylock to ascertain whether he wishes to have, all right, hearing none. Ms. McLeod, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old. She is a lifelong resident of the state of Georgia, and she tells me that she resides here in Fulton County with her husband, and their shared child is 1 year old, and she's also currently pregnant, Your Honor. She tells me that she and her husband is just having an argument which got a little bit out of control. This is not their usual modus operandi. She's currently pregnant, and I think she was just having a bad day, Your Honor. My client has no significant criminal history. And just based on the allegations, my understanding is, I was not able to contact her husband, but my understanding is that he wants her to be back home with him, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out of jail to take care of her very young child. Her child's just 1 year old, and to get back with her family. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Ms. Todd, has the state spoken with her husband? I'm just curious because I see that the state is requesting no further violence. And I'm assuming that that recommendation is based on having spoken with the defendant's husband?
We did not have the chance to speak with him, Your Honor, as we don't have contact information for him at this time.
All right, and the basis of the state's request for no further violent contact is just her criminal history?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. All right, at this time, the defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She's to take the 1-day anger awareness course, and she is to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim in this case, last name Blaylock. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, you also have Alpharetta on. I don't know if you guys know that.
I was not aware that we
Miss
did.
Farmer, Miss Farmer. I don't know what position she is, but Alpharetta is also actually on for her.
All right, thank you for letting me know that as well.
Okay.
Position number 11.
All right. All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 22 CR 008086C. In this case, you're charged with simple battery with the offense date of April the 21st. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have the history?
First.
All right. All right, Ms. Todd.
Thank you, Your Honor. What started as a verbal dispute over $300 and a missing iPad that lasted several days escalated when the defendant walked up to Mr. Anthony Brooks, knocked his hat off his head, and began pepper spraying him. After she pepper sprayed Mr. Brooks, she did flee the scene. Mr. Brooks was seen, did stay and speak with an officer, and was later seen at the hospital. We do recognize that this is the defendant's first arrest. We are asking for a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with the victim. Stay away from 3535 Peachtree Road Northeast, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. I'm sorry, Ms. Todd, can I have the victim's last name again so I can sound for him?
Yes, it's Brooks, Brooks.
I'm sounding for Mr. Brooks at this time. Mr. Brooks, all right, hearing none. Let's see, who represents this defendant?
Your Honor, this is conflict case.
Okay. All right, who represents what's the name of the conflict attorney?
Miss Maureen is here.
Oh, it's yours, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I did not hear her name. I'm sorry.
We're on position 11, Satterberry.
I did not speak to her, Your Honor. I did not receive her information.
Okay. The state has recommended a signature bond. I'm inclined to give that. I'm assuming that even if you spoke to her, that would not change at this time.
Judge, I think she did. It was this actually Sadberry is her name. Sadberry. She was on the conflict.
Say that again, Mr. Jordan. I couldn't hear you.
The last name is Sadberry.
Oh, yes, that is my client. I thought I heard something completely different. Yes, Your Honor, I
Yes.
do represent her.
All right. And the state has recommended a signature bond, which I'm inclined to grant in
We
light
do
of
not
her.
have an objection to that, Your Honor.
All
None
right.
at all. And I
At
do
this-
apologize. I just did not hear the last name. For some reason, it was garbled on this end.
No worries. At this time, the defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. She is to take the one-day anger awareness course, have no contact with the alleged victim, last name Brooks, and stay away from the incident location on Peachtree Road, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing from the state,
Nothing
Your
further,
Honor.
Your Honor. That incident location is not her home.
All right. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Position number 10.
All right, I'll say the name. That will help. Is your last name, are you Miss Ryan?
Yes, I am.
All right, Miss Ryan, your case number is 22 CR 008083C. In this case, you're charged with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe with the offense date of November the 27th of 2022. Do you understand your rights? You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet. Do you understand those things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, wonderful. Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
The 10th arrest, last was 05, suspended license. 2000 DUI dismissed, 98 DUI dismissed, and 97 DUI conviction.
Yeah. Ms. Todd?
Thank you, Your Honor. While on patrol on North Cross Street, Officer Kitambra Smith, my apologies, was following the defendant's vehicle when the officer noticed that the brake lights continued going on and off on the vehicle. As the defendant and the officer were the only two vehicles on the road at that time, the officer was unsure why the defendant kept braking. The officer continued to follow the defendant, and as they approached the red light on Holcomb Bridge Road, she noticed that the defendant's vehicle stopped approximately 200 feet from the red light. Again, the officer continued following through the green light, and the defendant continued pushing on and off of her brakes randomly. After making these necessary observations and also catching the mannerisms of the vehicle on the dash cam, the officer did pull over the defendant's vehicle. When the officer made contact, she noticed that the defendant appeared jittery and her eyes were watery and red. The defendant did admit to the officer that she took Benadryl 15 minutes prior to the stop. During the field sobriety test, which the defendant did consent to, the defendant struggled to follow instructions and couldn't even complete the simple test, could not complete the steps of the test. The officer observed upon flashlight review that the defendant's eyes were completely dilated and they were non-reactive. It was on these facts that the officer did place the defendant under the arrest. We are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, Your Honor, with no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, thank you. And who represents Ms. Ryan?
P.D. Kim.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Good afternoon,
Your Honor.
Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim,
Yes.
please proceed.
Yes, Miss Mary Ryan is 68 years old, Your Honor. She has been here in Georgia for all her life. She has one adult child. She has her sister here in Georgia. She's also, she has lived with her fiance for more than 30 years here in Georgia. She's not gonna go anywhere. She has an employment at Cracker and Barrel, one of my favorite restaurants, and she's working as a cash register. She's been working there for about 1.5 years. And Your Honor, she's not going to be qualified for a public defender's service. So my representation will end at the end of this bond hearing. She has a high school diploma and also, Your Honor, the last one that she had was very remote, more than 17 years ago. And the conviction was from 1997, 25 years ago, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond since she is qualified. Thank you.
All right, at this time.
Your Honor, if I may, very briefly.
Very briefly.
I do just want to point out that while they are remote, there are 2 DUI convictions on her record. One of them resulted in a hit and run. I also do want to point out that the defendant did admit to taking not only 1, but 10 Benadryl before driving. Hence why we are asking for the no driving recommendation.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $3,000 surety bond. She's not to drive unless she has a valid license issued by the Georgia DDS, and she's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond. Is there anything further?
Except the prescription medicine, right, Your Honor?
Except medication as prescribed.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Position number 12.
All right, this is last name Tessall. Are you Miss Tessall?
Yes.
All right, your case number is 22 CR 00807J. In this case, you're charged with simple battery with the offense date of June the 28th. Do you understand your rights, Ms. Tessall?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
27 total.
Did you say 27?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Last arrest was November 2021. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana. August 2021, shoplifting. 2019, giving false name, failed to appear 2018. Probation 2018. 2018, failed to appear for contempt of court out of Gwinnett. 2018 trespass conviction. 2017 trespass convictions. 2016 trespass conviction. Another 2016 trespass conviction. 2015 trespass NOLO. 2014 probation for trespass. 2013 probation. 2013 trespass conviction. 2012 probation.
That's good. Thank you, Mr. Howard. All right, Ms. Todd, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. While walking through the Lindbergh MARTA station, MARTA employee Miss Meredith Belcher, that's Meredith common spelling, Belcher Belcher, was walking behind the defendant when the defendant turned around and threw an unknown liquid substance in her face. The entirety of the incident was caught on MARTA's CCTV. While the defendant does not have a violent history, she does have 27 cycles, therefore showing a clear risk of reoffense here. We also have concerns of ties to the community, seeing as she does have 3 failures to appear and additionally 4 probation violations. The apparent randomness of this attack is highly suspicious, and we do fear that she could lose her temper at any point and try this again with another innocent individual. We are asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right.
Your Honor, we have no objection. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. I'll accept the state's recommendation. It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. She's to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, last name Belcher, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Tessa. Who do we have next?
May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, South Annex can be excused. I believe the only position that's left would be 4 Farmer, who should be at the Alpharetta location.
Ms. Farmer's here.
All right. Has she heard her rights? All right, we'll just go read them anyway. Ms. Farmer, your case is 22 CR 008095A. In this case, you're charged with 1 count of affray or fighting and 1 count of battery with the offense date of November the 25th. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney here today. This proceeding is being broadcast over the internet. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch that. Do you understand those rights? I've just explained them to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is her first arrest, so we will go straight to the state. Ms. Todd, is this your case? Oh, no, Ms. Todd is not here.
It's Miss Sauer, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sauer, thank you for speaking, so it will re-scramble the Zoom.
No problem.
Ms. Sauer, the state's recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. The cross defendant, whose name is Cheyenne Jones, she did appear on the calendar a couple days ago, but this week, and she received the same. So due to the parties not having a history, that is the state's recommendation. No contact with the cross defendant, stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, briefly, the facts of the case is that at North Point Mall, located at 1000 North Point in Alpharetta, officers responded regarding a fight. The defendant informed officers that the cross defendant attacked her twice. And after hearing the account from both parties, initially the officer only took out one warrant, and that was against the cross defendant. After reviewing video from the incident location, he deemed that both parties were culpable, and he took out this warrant. So that's why we are requesting that signature bond to go through pretrial. Nothing further.
All right, and who represents this defendant?
This is conflict case, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hi, this is her mother, Angela Farmer.
All right.
We actually obtained a lawyer, I'm sorry, but he couldn't be present right now. He's not, we don't meet with him until Monday, because this was like a surprise for us. So.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, at this time, defendant, I'm gonna require a co-signer for this defendant if she's 18. Ms. Farmer, would you be willing to co-sign for your daughter? You'll need to give information to pretrial services.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right. Defendant is going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She is to take that 1-day anger awareness course, not to speak to the cross defendant, have no contact at all, social media, text, by any other means. If she sees her, she should walk the other way. She is to have, of course, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and stay away from that North Point Mall. Ms. Farmer, please state your full name.
My name is Angela Farmer.
All right, Ms. Angela Farmer is going to serve as a co-signer. I'm going to waive the utility bill requirement, but you will need to bring ID. All right.
Where do I come back to Alpharetta? Because we're out here at Rice Road. We're actually sitting in the car. They told us to come here.
She's at Rice Street.
She's at Rice. I do believe she still has it posted at Rice Street, correct?
But she got a cosign around the corner on Jefferson Street, actually. So.
Okay, so it's out here.
Yeah, just put your number in the chat. I'll call you and tell you what it is.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
And Amanda is a student at Kennesaw State, so she won't be at North Point Mall.
All right. I believe that concludes the entire calendar. Is that?
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I do apologize for interrupting. I did place the address information for position 5 Freeman in the chat. I directed that to pretrial, Mr. Howard.
For who?
Okay.
For position 5 Freeman.
You need a cosigner too?
No, she was the one that didn't have a stable address, I believe.
Oh. Oh, okay.
All right. Does that complete the entire calendar? Can we review it, Mr. Jordan?
Judge, what was the breakdown on that bond? Is it 1,500 a piece for number 4? You said the 3,000 sign-on bond pretrial?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. 1,500 each. I apologize. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I stepped away when we did Tassau. If that's pretrial, that's per judge. Just FYI.
It is.
Yeah, that's per judge.
Okay, so position 1 is a $2,000 split bond, 500 surety for count 1, 500 sign-on bond jail for 2 and 3, and 500 surety for count 4. That's reset SAP 12/15/22. Position 2 is a $1,000 surety bond, reset SAP. Position 3 is a $1,000 surety bond, reset SAP. Position 4 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial, $1,500 per charge. Position 5 is a $6,000 sign-on bond pretrial per judge. Position 6 is reset to 12/3/22 SEA. Position 7 is a $5,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 8, made bond, reset further notice. Position 9 is a $3,000 surety bond. Reset SAP. Position 10 is a $3,000 surety, reset SAP. Position 11 is a $5,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 12 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial per judge. Position 13 is reset 12/3/22 SEA. And position 1 on the add-on is a $5,000 sign-on bond pretrial, $2,500 per charge.
Mr. Jordan, would you mind repeating position 11's bond amount?
I have 5,000 sign-on bond pretrial.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other comments, changes, corrections, or questions? All right, hearing none, I'll see some of you all tomorrow at tomorrow's SCA calendar. If not, everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
I'm about to send you this waiver in a minute.
Thank you.
All
Send
right.
that to PDF, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
Hi, I'm sorry, and I stay out here. This is Angela Farmer.
No, I'm about to call you now.